This book is the record of a man who wanted more. A man who wanted everything. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte.
My enemies are many. My equals are none. In the shade of olive trees, they said Italy could never be conquered. In the land of pharaohs and kings, they said Egypt could never be humbled. In the realm of forest and snow, they said Russia could never be tamed. Now they say nothing. They fear me, like a force of nature, a dealer in thunder and death. I say, I am Napoleon. I am Emperor.
Some men live and die in the shade of their olive trees. A lifetime of peace and simplicity. This book is the record of a man who wanted more. A man who wanted everything. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte. Soldier, general, emperor. Yet, all things have a beginning. There was a time when Napoleon was just a boy. A boy from Corsica. Some men live a simple life, while others have a fire that threatens to engulf the world. I do not know when the fire in Napoleon first burned. Perhaps he had always had a destiny, but sometimes destiny can use a little help or even a revolution. The old ways were drowned in a tide of blood. A man could be whatever he wanted if he could weather the storm. In 1796, Napoleon was sent to command the army of Italy. We knew that Austria would fight in Germany. We knew the Italian campaign had become pointless. Napoleon thought differently. That was his talent. I will lead you through the most fertile plains in the world. You will find there honor, glory, and riches, he told us. The soldiers listened, but they didn't believe. They had long been without hope, without glory. It was an age of exploration, of conquest everywhere. Frenchmen traveled the world, teaching, learning, trading. Always the British were a threat. Their merchants took the best. Their ships strangled our trade. As Britain grew wealthy, France suffered. In the heat of summer, Napoleon landed in Egypt. Now, the East and its wealth would be ours. Egypt. Here, the sands whisper stories of ancient victories and glories. Here, Napoleon felt the history of 40 centuries upon his shoulders. What I have done up to now is nothing, he said. But the desert is harsh, unforgiving. Bravery alone will not keep a man alive. France was aflame. Napoleon gave France greatness. He gave France everything: glory, justice, and law. Nothing was untouched. His code made justice a reality for all. I watched the emperor at work. He was a force of nature, a storm blowing away the cobwebs. The old enemies plotted against him: Britain, Austria, Russia, and their lickspittles. Napoleon was to be removed and his flame extinguished. We worked to stop them. In 1805, all of France, his empire, prepared for war. A Russian winter. Only a widow's heart is colder. Soldiers died in the saddle. Their horses died beneath them. The Grand Army died. The vultures gathered. Our enemies formed the Sixth Coalition, the Six, against Napoleon, against one man. We fought. It was not enough. In April 1814, Napoleon renounced the throne. Time seemed to stop. Tiny Elba was to be his island empire. He stayed 10 months. In spring 1815, Napoleon came home. He had no choice but to march on Paris. The worthless Bourbon king fled. Destiny awoke. Europe turned against us. Napoleon was an enemy and disturber of the tranquility of the world. War was forced on us. The emperor made his plans. Go north, destroy the British and the Prussians separately before they could meet. It would work. It had to work. The British made their stands on the Brussels road, Waterloo. French cannons and bayonets would carry the day. Then it began to rain. Napoleon had wanted dry ground. He could not maneuver his artillery in the mud. On that June morning, Napoleon spoke to us. This day will decide the destiny of Europe. This day is everything. If we lose, we have nothing. Once again, the cannons would speak. Waterloo. By nightfall, even the old guard was running. Dear God, that such a thing could happen. Surrender was bitter. Exiled to St. Helena, a speck of rock. I do not like to think of it. Remembered glories are sour by their very nature. Some men live and die in the shade of their olive trees. Some change the world, even in defeat.
La mort n'est rien, mais vivre vaincu et sans gloire, c'est mourir tous les jours.
Waterloo. By nightfall, the only English men on the field were dead, dying, or captive. France was safe. The Emperor was triumphant. This was his greatest victory. I do not think France will see his like again. I pray that it is never necessary. glory like that can only be survived once. Some men live and die in the shade of their olive trees. Some men change the world.
C'est là mon vrai titre de gloire. Celui qui vivra éternellement.